as I said when we ended yesterday, this was the slide that changed Brian QLA Rose's life. I should put Brian's slide now to give him due credit. And I poked fun at you because you've been going to seminars and listening to podcasts, etc., for 1, 5, 10, some of you 20 years, and you never connected the dots. And Brian connected the dots. Just seeing this slide connected the dots for him when he realized that what he had been doing. And then he changed his whole disposition, his whole demeanor, his look, all the things. And he got a fair amount of death threats from his loyal band of renown. Last night you saw the Steve Jobs movie, the second movie. There was a first movie when he shortly after he passed away, and then that one came out, a couple of years later. And I'm told there's a third movie in the works, which is going to be a real shit kicker, the real truth. So watching, you've seen the, thank you, you've seen the founder about Mr. Kroc of McDonald's, and now you've seen the movie about Steve, arguably one of the brightest guys on the planet in the last 50 years, which I would agree with, by the way. First, what we're going to ask you, what are some of the, pass in your homework, please. What are the takeaway, were you just born clumsy? I mean, is it a natural thing, Anyway, what are some of the takeaways from Mr. Jobs? Yes, sir.
I think it's about just being really who you are and don't give a shit. Just live your full talent and don't worry about.
Well, that's if you got talent. See, all of us have some talent for something.
He's ruthless.
Yeah. That's with a capital R.
Yeah, psycho.
With a capital P. Yes, sir.
From yesterday's film and today's film, you notice there's a direct connection on how partnerships start with the board and they end on a very
they end in tears.
On a very bad note.
And when I pound on you day after tomorrow about when you build your boards, and I give you all the tips, the shortcuts, I call them cunt cuts. And yes, I did give everybody vagina cream yesterday for the you YouTubers that asked me, so they could wash themselves up every day. That was vagina cream, yes, vaginal, whatever it's called. So just just so you don't misunderstand. And why do I give it? Because you're all cunts and you all squat to pee. All the guys, you're supposed to stand in the urinal. The guys still stand. I don't know. But you squat to pee. Women squat to pee, right? And it's not against women, it's just that you're a cunt. Okay, getting back to when I pound on you about the boards and how you build them, and I give you the processes, the steps, the procedures, and then you don't do it, and then you get thrown out. Oh, QLA didn't work. And that's what you all say. There's a reason why you're so I teach you to be so meticulous in how you pick your board. There's a reason. Because you add no value to whatever you're going to do, you add no fucking value. Do you understand it? You add no fucking value. You add no fucking value. And you're still going to walk away with your pockets full of fucking money. You add no fucking value. You add no fucking value. And you're still going to walk away with your pockets full of money. If you follow the steps. You add no value. There's never been anybody that's come through this program that add any value to the board. None. In 24 or almost 25 years. Yet we've created billions. If you follow the steps. Now, as much as I'm ranting, but you're not going to do it. You won't do it. I can almost pick which ones aren't going to do it in the room after one day. Why? Because you want to be a victim. It didn't end well when he was walking through the room when they were going to go public the next day or 2 days later, and they were giving stock away to various people. And he says, cut them out, or words to that effect, right? Happens every time. And who are they cutting out? You. Why? Because you had no value. Ruthless. What else about Mr. Jobs?
Winery?
Pardon?
Winery thinking? He's going the highway?
It's his way or the highway.
That's decision making.
On track.
Intense focus and no matter the situation, never expressed, showed doubt, period.
Visionary.
Loved himself above everything else.
He didn't love anything else but himself.
He was aware of his competition as well.
Everything around him was in pain.
I think he surrounded himself with smart people, and then he considers himself the conductor. And he's the conductor of the orchestra.
And what did I say? You're going to be conductor of the orchestra. For the first time in your miserable lives, you're going to be not working with one financial tool at a time. Remember, I told you I don't like that word toolbox, which is commonly used now. But you're going to have a full toolbox, and you're going to be able to. Your dream team is extremely. I can't emphasize how important it is. I can't emphasize. And the most important person on that dream team is your chairman. Or to be politically correct, your chairperson now. Most of you will have chairmen. Once in a while, we get a chairwoman. Once in a while. Not too often, though. Not because they're not capable people. I don't mean it that way. But they're just, they've got other fish to fry and helping you get wealthy. Because at the end of the day, you're going to have a lion's share of the equity. And that will become demonstrably visible at that meeting when he said to cut those other people out. When they start spreading the stock around, it will become obvious to even the most meathead observer. Well, fuck, he's going to still have 56% of this, and he has no value. Why would we do that? Are we stupid? You got to understand you add no value. The only value you have is the energy to bring it all together. But they won't consider that value. And the chairman, when they say that, when the investment banker says that, that's when your chairman steps up, like he had a pair, and said, we're here because of Rufus. We wouldn't be cutting up this big fucking cake without Rufus. That's when your board, your chairman steps up like he had a pair. And that doesn't always happen, though, because you didn't pick the right guy, because you didn't follow the steps. You picked your brother-in-law's fourth cousin instead of a ruthless cocksucker that rips heads off and shit down necks, like you're supposed to have. Remember, you're not supposed to. You don't want to explain about your chairman. And you don't want to have to explain about your board members. But the last person you want to have to explain about is your chairman. What else about Steve?
Don't have kids.
What did I tell you? You show me some, I'm still waiting. I'll be 73 pretty soon. I'm still waiting for somebody to give me a good reason about vis-a-vis kids. What else about Steve?
He just wanted to get the job done, no matter what.
And he only got religion when he when he was going to die. That's it? Sound familiar? And they threw him out of Apple. And when he came back like the conquering hero.
Always strategizing.
Pardon?
Always strategizing to get the bigger result. As in, when he was doing the cube, it wasn't about the cube. It was about how you can take down the next opportunity.
Crush the competition.
Crush. Not out-compete. Crush. These are the words that these guys use. Because they want to crush you out of business. They want to crush you out of life. They want to take the fucking air from your lungs. We're going to go over some lawsuits in a couple of days amongst some of these titans. You won't. And why am I the only guy that knows about these lawsuits? Why don't you know? Why don't you know? You know which hand I wipe my ass with. But you don't know that these guys, fight to the death in the courts. Why don't you know? Yet you know I use my right hand to wipe my ass with. Anything else about Steve? Yes, sir.
Focuses on just one product. That's it.
One. Focus on the few, not the many. One. Some of you got 6, 7, 8 different things. Shit on your. What are you smoking? Focus on one. On one thing. And the most important thing is to, 30-some years ago, Bill Gates always wanted to have Warren Buffett as his mentor. And this is on Google even. And so he hadn't got around to going to see Warren yet. And so his mother, Mrs. Gates, knew that he wanted her son, Bill, wanted to have Warren as a mentor. So Mrs. Gates called Warren Buffett up. He used to answer his own phone. I don't know if he does anymore. And so Bill Gates comes in from town, and he's going to stay at his parents' house. And Warren Buffett's sitting there for dinner. And legend has it that there was a lull in the conversation at dinner. And so Mrs. Gates said, Mrs. Gates, the mother, not Bill's wife, Mrs. Gates, the mother, said, well, what do you attribute your success to? Open question. Because Bill's father was a very successful lawyer. Warren was there, and there might have been one or two other luminaries. And simultaneously, Warren and Bill Gates answered the question with one word: focus. Not meander moron meatheads like you. Focus. And I've added laser beam focus. They attribute all their success to focus. And then they go on to say, knowing when to say no, and time management. Virtually, not everything, but almost everything that you're going to be presented with when you leave here, you should say no to. I don't even have to look at them. You send me these things, I don't even look. Because if they gave them to you, they're not worth a shit. Why would anybody with a modicum of sophistication give you anything that was worth a shit? Any idea? Why? They wouldn't. They used to say in Texas, if an oil deal got out of Texas, it wasn't a deal. If an oil deal got out of Oklahoma, it wasn't a deal. And when an oil deal got to New York, only brain deads put money in it. And it exists today. If an oil deal gets out of Texas, it ain't worth a shit. And when J.P. Morgan puts a fucking wrapper around it and puts it in a prospectus, God no, it ain't worth a shit. Because if it's worth a shit, the Texas guys will do it themselves with their own money. So when some of you got deal, it's a joke, your deal. It's a fucking joke. It's pathetic, as my Irish partner would say. Fucking pathetic. Okay, anything else about Steve? All the luminaries that we will study here are almost the same. 95, 98%. I have a thing on social media I've put up for months and months and months one of the meatheads, the dummies, the kids, going to realize, and I list 6, 7 different people, they're all hard as nails and they'd all rip your tongues out. Why can't you believe it? Because you don't want to believe it because you're not hard as nails and you're not going to rip anybody's tongue out. So that means you're pissing in the wind. That's why you don't want to believe it. Your dream team's got to be hard as nails. Your dream team's got to be hard as nails. They will teach you how to rip the tongues out of these fuckers. And if you like your dream team, you got the wrong people. And if you like your dream team, you got the wrong people. And if you like your dream people, you got the wrong people. And if your dream team is like you got definitely the wrong people. If they look, sound, smell like you got the wrong people. If they look, smell, talk like you got the wrong people. Because that's the only thing between you and the door at the end of the day. You mean getting thrown out the door is your dream team. And mainly your chairman. And mainly your chairman. Okay, YouTube, thank you.